So you did the work. You journaled, you reflected, you got quiet enough to finally hear yourself. And it came. That soft, settling knowing we talked about last episode, the clarity showed up, right? And then you didn't move. You told yourself you needed a little more time, a little more preparation. You start after the holidays, after the busy season, after things calm down. And so the clarity just sat there, patient, waiting, while you found every reason not to act on it. If that's you, I need you to know you are not alone and you are not a coward. But we do need to talk about what's actually happening. Hey, I'm Tamberly. Welcome to Digital Wellness Journal. This is the final episode of the Clarity series. Now, we've covered why clarity feels impossible, the difference between clarity and certainty, and what clarity actually feels like when it arrives. So today we're closing the loop because having clarity and deciding on clarity and acting on clarity are two completely different things. And the gap between them is where a lot of us live. So here's the scenario. You've known for a while that something needs to change. Maybe it's your workload, maybe it's a relationship dynamic, maybe it's something you want to build or start, or maybe it's something you want to walk away from. You're not confused about it anymore. The clarity is there. You can feel it when you sit still long enough. But every time you get close to doing something about it, something seems to come up. Or maybe you talk yourself out of it, or you decide now isn't the right time. Or you start wondering if maybe you were wrong and you need to sit with it a little longer. Can you relate? I can. And so months go by, sometime maybe even years. And here's what I want to say about that. The gap between clarity and action is almost never about not knowing. It's about what acting on what you know will cost you. Because clarity usually asks something of you. It asks you to disappoint someone, to disrupt something comfortable, to admit you've been going the wrong direction and turn around. To choose yourself in a moment when it feels selfish, to say out loud the things you've been only thinking quietly. And that is generally hard, not because you're weak, but because it's actually hard. And I think we need to stop pretending that having clarity should automatically make acting easy. It doesn't. Y'all, clarity doesn't remove the risk. It doesn't make the hard conversations easier. It doesn't guarantee anyone's going to understand or agree or be okay with your decision. It just means you know. And knowing is its own kind of weight sometimes. But here's the other side of that. The longer you sit on clarity, you're not acting on, the heavier it gets. Because now you're not just carrying the original load, you're carrying the load plus the awareness of what you need, plus the guilt of not doing it, plus the energy it takes to keep explaining to yourself why now is not the time. And honestly, it is exhausting. So, what do you actually do with this? You start smaller than you think you need to, not a dramatic life overall, not a big announcement, not burning everything down at once. Just one small move in a direction your clarity is pointing. One conversation, one boundary, one application, one honest sentence said out loud to yourself or to someone. Because clarity doesn't need you to be ready, it needs you to be willing. Just willing enough to take one step and then one more. That's it. That's how this works. And I want to say this gently but clearly. You are allowed to act on what you know, even if nobody else sees it yet. Even if the timing isn't perfect. Even if people don't understand. Even if you're scared. Clarity is yours. It came from to you for a reason. And you don't have to wait for the world to make it convenient before you honor it. You've been carrying so much for so long. The least you can do is carry your own knowing somewhere worth going. So that's it for the clarity season series. 4 episodes, one word, and honestly, I think we just scratched the surface. So, if you've been watching this series and something has been staring in you, I want you to do one thing this week. Just one. Write down the thing you already know, not what you're confused about, the thing you actually know. And then write down the one smallest possible step you could take toward it. Not the whole plan, okay? Just the first step. And see what happens when you put it on paper. And of course, if you want a community of women doing this exact same kind of work together, lightening the load and coming back to ourselves, come join us in the Prompt of Life. It's free, it's real, and it's full of women who get it without you having to explain yourself. The link is in the description. So thank you for being in this series with me, and I'll see you in the next one.